My spiel. Awesome. Awesome. Hey guys. So, for those of you that are joining us in the web conversation, I'm Kneko Burney Miller, the CEO of Change 3. Today is one of our Growing Happily series conversations. I am joined by two incredible people from actually one of our clients that we are honored to serve, Optimal Health Systems, based in Arizona, headed by Doug Grant, the CEO, and also the master formulator. Today, we're going to be talking about how life hacks, what do you do to have happy, healthy self and happy, healthy employees? The reason why we're having this conversation today is because wellness is actually one of the top challenges that people face. And it is actually one of the top things that will either drive your performance forward or drag it right on back. So I know some of you guys are getting in the room. I see folks are coming in. Hi. And I do my spiel. Grab a drink, get your seat, get comfortable, get ready. I'm so excited to let all of you guys know that are joining us today in the Zoom that we're also going to be streaming on multiple platforms today. So usually we live stream on LinkedIn and we engage a couple hundred more people than the folks that are actually in the room. But today we're opening up. We're going to be live streaming on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and my personal channels. And next week, we're going to be talking about account based marketing. So, for those of you that are joining who are involved in selling your solutions to businesses, please join us again next week around this time. We're going to be talking about the solutions, the systems, the services, and the strategies so you can really laser target those business customers through awesome channels like this, right? Like on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it. But today's topic, life hacks for healthier, happier growth. I am joined by the gentleman from Optimal Health. I just want to tee up one little thing before I turn it over to Doug. So, Doug Grant is really an inspiration for me. When I encountered his team, I'm a big natural health person. I have my children in my 40s. I know you guys didn't know that I was in my 50s because I only look 13. But, I'm all about natural health. And so when I discovered them, I was really excited. A company here in Arizona with whole food supplements and a strategy towards, real and whole food nutrition. But the thing that really inspires me and why I'm so excited to have them on with me today is that Doug is just really a very inspiring entrepreneur. So how many of us are out there? We've built our business and we're trying to grow. We've been in business for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years or more. But to actually have our profession be something that we can create a legacy, a real business, and grow it and to build it, I think is just such an honor. And Doug is one of those fountains of wisdom. He's going to talk to us about, everything he knows about being the master formulator. But we're also going to talk about a way that you guys can engage with Doug and his mastermind team as we go along. So, Doug, meet the crew and tell us a little bit about you as the CEO of Optimal Health Systems.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, it's great being here, and you do look like a teenager. So great job on natural health journey, right?
Mhm.
What's interesting is when we were discussing things beforehand, you made mention to something called a business athlete. And that's really a great way to kind of transition into this because I got my start actually with athletes. I was a first nutritionist in the NBA. And so,
Yeah.
I'm going in and no one had ever been in that position before. And so I'm trying to figure out how do you inspire and motivate these athletes to understand everything different than their exercise, which they had under control, right? That they needed to focus on for performance. And it became very apparent that the answer was metrics. In other words, you can't just speak it to them.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a piece of an athlete. They've heard it all, and this will change your life, and do this. Eat these foods, take this supplement, do this. And so it was really a great moment in my life because it's like, wait a second, I need to make sure they don't have to believe me. They need to
Hmm.
have the metrics for themselves. So we started doing blood work. We started doing testing, started showing things. Every time I wanted them to take a supplement, I would have a demonstration that I made, sometimes real
So
corny, like I'd
cool.
get pudding out and show how enzymes digest it, and they need to,
Wow.
eat more raw food because raw food has enzymes. And anyways, all kinds of crazy stuff.
So
But
cool.
I learned that when we were able to show, actually what happens when you do start improving your diet, you start taking the whole food nutrients based on metrics, right? Your body, what your body truly needs. Then all of a sudden you get compliance. And once you get compliance, then your health improves dramatically. And so these athletes were going from 10 points a game to 20 points a game or 30 to 50.
Wow.
And it was really amazing to see this dramatic change in the early 90s in the NBA, which kind of jumped forward to today. The majority of what we do is just train doctors around the nation on how they can implement the systems in their clinics to be able to be holistic, to be able to
Awesome.
teach the right nutrition, to find out, what supplements do you need and how
Yeah.
can the patient know that they truly work instead of like, am I just being sold a bill of goods, And
Wow.
so we
Yeah.
spend our time training the health professionals, and most of our seminars around the nation are that. We fill the rooms of doctors from, holistic medical doctors to naturopaths to chiropractors to nurses, and we
Mhm.
train them on systems to be able to reach optimal health. So that's kind of the little bit of the
I love
background
it.
there and what
Yeah.
we do today. Maybe one other little caveat, he said here in Arizona, we're one of the few companies left in the world that does everything in-house.
Wow.
Most companies, as you know, like they'll sell a product, but some of them don't even know what the product, where it's at because it's just a sales
Yeah.
team. And then somewhere they make the product, somewhere they ship the product. They don't know where the ingredients come from, or their marketing is in a different area, all this stuff. Well, here in
Yeah.
Arizona, we're in a real small community, but everything is done here. I bring in the raw ingredients. We do the formulas. We have the manufacturing FDA approved facility. We, bottle, we label, we ship, we do the marketing, we do everything so that we can control the process. Because in the industry today, there's a lot of junk. The
Okay.
pharmaceutical companies will bought a
So
lot of
right.
the vitamin companies, and they're making synthetics, and it really is, like, who do you believe? And so we really
Right.
like that mentality from like day one in the NBA. Don't believe us. Let us prove it to you, and we'll show you how that you can, do certain things and be able to prove for yourself that your health's improving.
Yeah. Oh, baby, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm so excited. And what you just said, we are going to unpack this. Normally, these conversations last about an hour or so, but honey, I could talk to you probably for 5 or 10 hours. But
We'll try
so,
to condense
so
it down for you.
yeah, yeah, we're going to condense it down. Okay. Okay. So Reese, tell us about your role at Optimal Health Systems and give us a little bit of blurb.
Yeah, thank you for that. So it's an honor to work alongside Doug and push this health mission forward. I personally have had a couple of roles at Optimal Health Systems. Currently, I'm transitioning into the seminar role where I help put on these big, huge events where we bring in as many
Wow.
people as we can and share this crazy, cool experience that I personally have had with Optimal Health Systems. And what Doug talked about is true. Like, as you experience it, you start to feel your body rejuvenate and revitalize. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, where did this energy come from? Well, it's
Yeah.
because the supplements work. And so I didn't take things before I worked here. And I got here and I'm like, oh gosh, now I can't live without it. So it's been really cool to have that experience. And now I get to go and help people feel that as well and share that. And then we get to hear from a lot of thought leaders as well in those kinds of events. So it's just really cool environment.
Awesome.
I'm excited for that opportunity.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, so let's dive in. We got folks in the room. Now, folks in the room, the benefit of being in this Zoom meeting with us is because now you can ask questions directly to Doug. And this is a rare honor where you could ask him. Obviously, you can engage to get a consultancy or whatever, but this is where you can ask questions. So please feel free to ask your questions throughout the conversation. This is really going to be a conversation. So I've got a few questions. Obviously, our focus today is how do you grow happily and healthfully. So you've done everything right, right? You've got a great business. Maybe you've been in business for a while. So, you got some experience behind you, some on the job training, OJT. You've got a good stable of customers. But maybe you're a woman like me. I got hit really hard with perimenopause, right? Your hormones are changing. and you start to, I was one of those people, I slept 2, 3 hours. I traveled all over the world. I probably flown a million miles in my lifetime. And I used to have so much energy. But once I got hit with perimenopause, and you guys listen to this, okay? Now, I was old when I had my kids. My son is 6. I am 51. So I was 45 when I gave birth to my son. So think about it. You're going through menopause. I thought I was going through menopause when I was pregnant. Okay, that's the scenario. So you're going through menopause, you have a baby, that's fluctuating your hormones right there. And now I'm nursing a child. That boy did not want to stop nursing, so it took a while. It took years. But all these hormonal changes just dumped me right on my side, right? I was like, I don't know why I have no energy. I'm so tired. I feel sad. I don't feel like myself. And so that's actually something that led me to my supplement journey as well. And what I've discovered is it goes with your gut, right? And this is something that, I think is aligned with the whole optimal health mission. And Doug, I'm gonna get to my question, but I want to
Uh-huh.
make this something that'll resonate with everybody. So me as a woman, I went through a lot of hormonal changes and I started to lose a lot of energy, and it struck me because I wasn't used to it. I was used to being a really energetic person, and suddenly I felt like I could hardly get out of bed.
Right.
I knew my husband who same thing, he's in his 60s, but you wouldn't even, well, you would look at him and be like, that man been through some stuff. But I mean, he can lift heavy stuff. He's so strong, and you wouldn't know he could outwork a 25-year-old guy. And same thing, he started to go through some things where he's like, I just don't have the energy. And a lot of people that I know, they went through these cycles of, I'm going through something and I just don't have the energy. So let's start there. You're running your business, you've got a great business, but now you've reached a point in your life where you're starting to feel like, I don't have the energy. There's so many things I want to do and I don't have the energy. So, Doug and Reese, what's the number one thing and life hack that a business owner or an employee could learn today that might affect their energy? What's the number one stealer of energy, and what's the number one way they can restore it?
Wow, great question. And thanks for that, lead up to that in your history. So what's interesting is that when the studies have been done all across the nation as to, for example, the number one reason that people visit their health professional, and it doesn't matter whether it is a allopathic medical doctor, a holistic medical doctor, naturopath, chiropractor, the number one reason you would think is pain, right? But it's
Yeah,
not, it's
yeah.
low energy. It's low
Wow.
energy that
Hmm.
they go in and they say, "Oh, my back hurts," but the main thing is I just don't have the energy or whatever it
I don't
is it
feel
might be.
good.
So
Yeah,
low energy is what you're saying is for
yeah,
most people the main reason they want help, and they'll go as far as going to a health professional. And going back to the professional athletes, because business, right? Business athletes,
yeah,
we all are, whether our
yeah,
business is
yeah,
to take care of the home or is to be out, in the workplace, you're still a business
yeah,
athlete. So going back to the athletes, my job really wasn't to make an athlete better. Okay. It really wasn't because they're already in the NBA.
yeah. They're
What
already
the
great.
owner did is, yeah, he already took me aside and says, "Don't think you're going to make him better. You're not." He goes, it's like he really humbled me. He's like, what I want you to do," he goes, "all of these athletes have high performance moments. They have the time
Yeah,
when they hit that 50-point game, right?"
yeah,
And he goes, "I want to have them hit it more often. Your job
yeah,
is to create more high performance moments. So now let's come to you. So
yeah,
with you or anyone, in the world today, myself, Reese, anyone that are what we want really, what I've come to conclusion is that
yeah,
we want to have more high performance moments because we have them at times, but as we get older, they're less and less, and we're like, oh, what the heck? I have low energy and different things. And so we want to have more high performance moments. Well, we've had them in our life. We've all had them. Even at least, as a teenager and you go through all that, but most of us have had them in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and then even in their 50s, just ever so often. And you know what that's like. You get those 2 or 3 hours of zone time, you're in the flow, it's just a good day. At night, you're like, today's a good day. What's the difference? Well, the difference is the research has shown us that, it's not one thing, darn it. It's not like one magic pill or anything like that. But it's finding out where your deficiencies or toxicities are. So to answer the first question, where does low energy, how do we, what's causing low energy? How come we can't stay in flow and optimal health 24/7? Well, it's because of two things. One is either a deficiency in a nutrient, like say vitamin D. You're low in vitamin D, you're going to be depressed, right? So number one cause of depression
Wow.
today is vitamin D deficiency. So it could be a vitamin or some other deficiency. Maybe you're not getting enough healthy fatty acids, whatever it is. Or it's a toxicity due to the chemicals and that are in our foods, the synthetic dyes, the artificial sugars, the plastics, the just processing. Let's just call it processed foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's been the
Mm-hmm.
biggest change and problem, I think, to destroy energy in the last 20 years. I'm going on 30 some odd years in this business, and it's like, what has been the biggest change? It's been processed foods for sure.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so we know that that's the cause, right? These excess toxins or a deficiency. So now for you or anyone else out there, well, how do I create more high, performance moments in life? Well, we need to find out what the toxicity or the deficiency is, and there's two ways to go about it. The first way is to just say, okay, look, I'm going to do a little bit of a shotgun approach. Maybe you can take a little questionnaire. I'm going to talk to my health professional, or like put some questions in here, like I'll kind of figure
Yeah.
out, and I'm going to go and try to take the right supplements, change my diet, eat cleaner, and do that. And a lot of people can do that, and more power to them. And the other way is align yourself with somebody that's going to truly test. Like, hey, I want to do
Mm.
some blood work. So in your case, I would just say the deal is we need to run blood work. I'm going to send you a
Sure.
script right now. You're going to get blood work done, and we're going to look at it, and we're going to lay your program out. If you can't or don't
Sure.
want to do that, we're going to at least do this questionnaire. And then from that, we're going to design your exact program. And it might be something as simple as saying, look, you need to work out 30 minutes a day, every day, like
Yep.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Cut out processed foods. You don't have to be on some strict diet, right? Like, no fried food, cut out processed foods, single ingredient foods, that
Yeah.
type thing. And we
Yeah.
talk about it a little bit. And then here's some supplements based on your questionnaire or your blood work that
Mm-hmm.
are very specific to you. And guess what? You're going to take them, and then we're going to retest in 3, 4, 6 months, and you'll see the improvement. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
improve, go somewhere else, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like don't have to believe us. And
Yeah.
so that's really the key is don't guess, test. That basically is
I
what
love
I'm
it.
trying to say,
Yeah.
Nico, is that you need to test. And there's many ways to do that. Either get hooked up with a holistic health professional, or like with Optimal Health Systems, we actually like you to be at the holistic health professional, but we can take care of you too. That
Sure.
type of a thing. And that way you're able to track your journey, because all the businesses that you teach, I
Yeah.
mean, think about it. How do they know if what you do that what you do for them works or not?
Right.
Metrics.
Metrics. No, you're so
Metrics.
right.
So why in the
Yeah.
world, as business owners or even staff members in a business, when you know your performance is based on metrics, why in the world wouldn't you look at the most important thing on the planet? And
That's so
I'd love to
true.
get into that argument or that discussion.
Yeah.
Health should be your number one priority above everything else in the world. Health
So
should be
true.
it. So why wouldn't you use metrics for it? And so at Optimal Health Systems, we're really a company that helps people create metrics, but then gives them the answers, to
Sure.
what they can do to improve their health. And that's, one of the reasons we put someone like Reese in the position he is like, look, how do you get people those metrics? Well, his job is to find ways to help motivate and inspire people to get in the room, to be on the webinars, the podcasts, or in person at our
Yeah.
seminars, so
Yeah.
that they can to get the detailed metrics that's needed to be able to
Yeah.
improve their health.
I love it. Oh my gosh. There's so much to unpack on that. Okay. So let me stay with it. Okay. So everything you said, I agree. I couldn't agree
Mhm.
more. And everything you prescribed are things I did. So I walk 2 to 3 miles every morning. The first thing that I do when I wake up is I wake up with the sun, and I make sure that I get sunlight on my skin before I do anything else. And so that's that vitamin C, right? And do you know, like, I put in place a lot of different changes, and I've never had more energy, right? And I also, not to make it an infomercial, but I also do use some of your supplements. So I use your
Mhm.
you have a gut health supplement called Digestamil, and I think that's a big one for me. And then the whole C, like, but I love, I'm a big supplement user, and I've used it for use different supplements for different reasons. But something that you said, not just now, but before, is the sourcing. And that's been one of my challenges is, how do you get whole food supplements that aren't coming from a third, another country. I won't classify what kind, but I'll just say another country where they might have different regulations or different cultural considerations for how pure they are. Like some countries are like, it's okay if I sprinkled a little mercury on here. That's fine. Put a little formaldehyde, pour a little bit of antifreeze in the baby formula. It's all good. Stir it around, and they have different attitudes towards what's clean and what's pure. So it's
Right.
so great to hear that you guys are really focused on that. But I wanted to go back to what you were talking about, this business athlete, peak performance, because the way you spoke about it, and everybody who's watching, I really want you guys to take this headline away. Because you're thinking like, how does this have anything to do with me growing my business? It has everything to do with growing your
Yeah.
business.
And I'll
If you're
comment on that.
struggling to wake up, right? If you're falling asleep at your desk, I have a client who's young and gorgeous, and she runs a huge billion-dollar company, and she's so busy that sometimes she's like, I'm falling asleep, right? She's so busy, she's so high performance constantly, she's like, I'm falling asleep. But some of that could be you need to adjust. And like Doug just said, don't guess, test, right? Get your metrics, get your health metrics, get your supplement metrics, get all those metrics so that you can start to optimize yourself. And that's really the headline today, guys, is if you were thinking like, okay, I want some life hacks, and of course you're going to get some. The first life hack is definitely find a provider, whether it's OHS or one of their partners, and hook up and do a test. I challenge you, right? I'm gonna do it myself. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't even mess around with doctors. I don't like none of that. But I will. I'm gonna do it because Doug has presented it to me in a way that I'm like, okay, I'm willing to do this, right? And I'm willing to get that baseline and check it out. So I want to challenge all of you guys to do the same. So that
Yeah,
takes me
and
to
just
my
one
next
thing
question.
also
Yeah,
real
please.
quick,
Yeah.
is that, for someone like you or others are like, hey, I don't want to get hooked up with a health professional, a doctor right now, but I do want to know. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can go right on Optimal Health Systems website and order something called Nutrients RX. Now you can do this other place. I want to make sure people know that I'm like, oh, just use our stuff.
Yeah.
But there's places you can go. So you can go on optimalhealthsystems.com and you can click on Nutrients RX. And what it is the blood work. You push the button, you pay for the blood work, and it'll tell you where the labs are
I love
around
it.
where you live. And
Yeah.
you just take a little paper in and they draw your blood and you're done. And what happens is it comes through our system and we take it, we evaluate it, we create this nice, pretty form and it has little buttons on it with videos so that you don't even have
Yeah.
to talk to anyone. It'll tell you like
Yeah.
this is high or low and what you should do. And then it'll actually make your exact custom pack vitamin with your name on
Recommendation.
it, right? And
I
you'll get
love
the
it.
your name on it. You'll have to take 7 or 8 bottles of product. It's just in a
Yeah.
pack with your name on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then in 6 months, you redo the blood work and you'll be like, okay, man, that worked. My vitamin
I'm
D levels,
done.
energy, my calcium, my hormones.
Yeah.
Hormone balance is such a huge factor. And, the reason the perimenopause is even a thing
Mm-hmm.
is due to processed foods and the chemicals today, the glyphosate and that. It wasn't even a thing, 20, 30 years ago. And it is thing and it's real. It's like real, but it's real
Yeah.
from the standpoint of there's things that are disrupting the hormone balance in men and women, but women
Mm-hmm. In
especially
particular.
sooner than it should. And so people should go through menopause as, oh, there's a change happening, and that change happens, and it's not that big a deal. And what's happening though is making this complete anxiety filled, emotion filled, pain, low energy, perimenopause, and then menopause, and postmenopause,
Yeah.
and it can be avoided. It can be avoided by finding out what you're deficient in and get rid of the toxicities because the body doesn't want you to go through pain, right? It really doesn't. It
Yeah.
wants
Yeah.
to be happy and healthy. And so that's a big factor. And just one other thing on that, you're talking about, people are watching and saying, well, yeah, what's the big deal for me? The fastest growing sector in the health field right now is called concierge health medicine. And
Mhm.
concierge health medicine is one of two things. One is you get a doctor that's kind of like your drug dealer on
Personal.
speed dial. I'm not talking about that. You call
Right.
up at 24/7, yeah, I'm sick, and they give you this script or whatever. I'm talking
Hmm.
about hooking up with a health professional whose job is just to zone in with you and
Hmm.
do all the testing, do everything, and they're your one-stop shop for everything for optimal health.
Yeah.
So me and my wife do concierge coaching. We have a lot of our doctors that do concierge coaching, and it really is phenomenal because what happens is that instead of your main health professional being someone that's going to prescribe a drug or do surgery, like if I'm going to go ask my knee surgeon about my knee, he's going to recommend surgery because that's what he does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to go
Yeah.
to an allopathic medical doctor about a condition, they're going to give me a drug. That's what they do.
Right. And I
Why
don't
not
do
have
that.
your main
Yeah.
health professional be someone that their main focus is lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
90% of all disease is created because of lifestyle. This is from the World Health
Interesting.
Organization, that's from
Yeah.
Center for Disease Control. Um, our newest Surgeon General, Callie Means, has really made this a big point, is like,
Hmm.
look, majority of diseases from lifestyle, you need a lifestyle coach. You need someone that's going to say, okay, look, straighten up your nutrition, quit drinking those sodas, and lay
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
alcohol, exercise, and you're going to be accountable. And so some of the clients that we have these, $1 billion or 500 million to $1 billion businesses. And the most important meeting, I had one last night. This guy said, the most important meeting I have every week is that 10 minutes with you. Every week we get on a call and we go through where you at with your mindset, how was clarity that week, what was your nutrition like, what was your exercise, what was your supplementation, did you take what we asked you for, when are we going to
Hmm.
test next? And sometimes those meetings go 5 minutes, sometimes they
Wow.
go 50. It depends on
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on?
Like, this is
Yeah.
my most important meeting of the week. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I know some of the people you met with, right? This guy just got through meeting with like Tony Robbins and all these people. And he goes, what?
Wow.
I'm like freaking out. Like, why is this the most important?
Yeah.
He goes, because I can't be present like I want to in those meetings for my spouse, for my children, unless my health is optimal. And that's kind of, I'll turn it back over to you, but that's the point I want to make for a minute is that was such a huge factor for me. He's like, wait a second, the healthier your presence, the more you can be present. And life is about joy and experiences. And you
Yeah.
won't have the same joy or remember the experiences if you weren't healthy. So it's like being somewhere and you have a headache, right? You can be at your favorite place on the planet, but if you have a headache or a stomach
You
ache,
can't
like you're
enjoy
talking
it.
about
You're
your
right.
disease, you can't enjoy it. And so
Yeah.
that's why he felt that that was the most important meeting of the week, is to make sure he's doing everything he can to be able to have optimal health, to have more high performance moments. And that's really what it's about. So I think that where you're headed, what your personal journey
Yeah.
is really where everyone is at. It's just sometimes they don't wake up and, take the accountability and say, what, I'm in charge of whether I feel good and energetic or not. And I'm in charge of finding out what's up so that I can do the things necessary instead of blaming others.
So true. So, okay. So back to our topic, life hacks, right? So hack number one was measure, don't guess, right? And Doug has given you a bunch of easy ways. You can hit his website. Sandy, if you drop it in the chat so folks can see, and then obviously we'll make sure that for everyone who's on the stream that you can find it. Optimalhealthsystems.com. Is that right? Did I get it right, Doug?
Yep, absolutely.
Optimalhealthsystems.com. Real easy to remember. So you can go there and you can start measure out, see what your toxicities are, what your deficiencies are, and get your custom recommendation. That's a great place to start. But what Doug was just talking about is life hack number two, and it might not have hit punched you in the gut, so I'm gonna punch you right now, which is mentality, right? So, and I hear this a lot. I used to say it to myself, oh, I'm too busy. I have too much. I'm up. I have a conference calls at 7 a.m. and I'm from 7 to 7. I'm on calls and I'm talking to people. And me personally, I have, oh my gosh, a little bit around 40 employees, somewhere between 40 and 50. I don't know because the team's always changing, but 40 and 50 employees around the world. So I have people in Asia, I have people in Europe, I have people in the United States. And so what that it can easily make possible, and I'm sure many of you have the same type of scenario, is you could easily work 24 hours a day. right? You can be up at 3 o'clock in the morning and somebody who's important to your organization is working and they're like, oh, since you're up, let me ask you a question, right? And it could be, 10 o'clock in the afternoon or 10 o'clock in the morning US time, and they're like, hey, I got a question, let's have a meeting. So it's really easy to work continuously. But what I have learned is I've developed, and like what Doug said, it's really accountability for yourself. And so I have developed much more discipline to establish my boundaries. So, life hack number two, people, is to you to take the control and to establish that healthy mentality. What I love that Doug is saying is right. He's reminding us we are business athletes, we are elite athletes. And taking care of ourselves is really investing in our business. And a one way to do that is to think differently. So yeah, you're busy and you're like, I don't feel like having something healthy to eat. And oh, I'm gonna just grab this, I'm gonna have this snack or whatever. And it's like actually take a step back and take some time to choose, make better choices for your body, just like you take time to make the best choices for your business. And look, you know how I roll. I'm not about what you should and could do, and I don't shame people and I don't tell you your choices are bad because your choices are your choices. But you can go a little step at a time. Drink less soda, right? Drink less coffee, drink more water, eat healthier snacks. Start there. Just start somewhere, guys. If you feel like there's things that you're doing that you know you could do better, let's just promise ourselves together we're going to do better. For me right now, my big thing is God has blessed us. We have this really large ranch, just under 200 acres in southeastern Arizona in the mountains. And so what was happening to me is after my mom died, I kind of went into a hole. My mom, I don't like to use that word, so forgive me, guys, if I triggered any of you. But my mom went to Jesus, right? When she transitioned on, I was really heartbroken, and I just stopped wanting to do a lot of things, including stream and have these sessions. But I realized, my me celebrating my life and to continuing on is a great way to celebrate her and her eyes and everything that I have inherited from her. And so one of the things that I realized that I wasn't doing anymore is I wasn't hiking on these 200 odd acres that God has blessed us with. So I do that every day. I get up, I meet the sun when he or she's waking up, and I go, hey, good morning. And I get up with my little dog, and then we go and we hike around my property, and it's large enough so that I can get some miles in, going up and down the hills. So definitely, thank you, Doug. So yeah, do a 21-day challenge, do a 70-day challenge, do whatever kind of a day challenge you want.
Let me
But
throw
think
something
to
out there real
yourself,
quick.
find something you could do. Yeah.
You can right now, everyone, to do what you just said. The suggestions you made were huge, but how do you actually apply those, right?
Yeah.
And so what we've done is we've spent the last, 10, 12 years like, man, the systems, it's about the systems. How can we
Yeah.
make it easy? So what I'd suggest everyone do, and you can do this with everyone in your business too, by the way, is
Yes.
is you go to your app store and download what's called Healthy Habits Tracker. Okay, Healthy Habits Tracker is an app. Doesn't
Okay.
matter whether you're on, Apple or whatever it is,
Yep.
right?
Android.
Android.
Google.
Android. Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
download it, and then it'll ask you for a code, and you can put OHS
Mhm.
Doug in, and that'll make it free. And so you get
Okay.
this. And one of the things that's in that app, there's a lot of stuff there, but one of them is a challenge, and you can choose a
Is that
21
it?
course.
Doug, is that
That's
it?
it.
I know
Healthy
it's a
Habits
little
Tracker.
blurry. Let me see. Let me
Boom.
go.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, I got it.
one.
There it
That's the
is. Is that
one.
it? Healthy Habits
Yep.
Tracker. There you
Healthy
go,
Habits Tracker.
guys.
And there's a 21-day challenge is one of the options there. And what it is each day it'll pull these boxes up and it'll say drink so much water and you click it. It'll say
Cool.
no fried foods. So at the end of the day, you didn't eat fried foods, you click
Cool.
it. You eat so
Hmm.
many fruits and vegetables, you click it. So at the end of each day, you've just made better choices. And it's not this cumbersome. You're not counting every calorie in your macros.
Yeah.
You're making changes, right? And
Hmm.
so just to kind of give a little something that for people, you can use that healthy habits tracker right now. And one of the other things it does is remember it's either a deficiency or a toxicity, right? And if people want the little hack on how to fix toxicities, the cheapest way
Yeah.
and most beneficial, it's with a word that usually is a swear word to some people. It's called fasting. And so,
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a big
And
faster.
the
Yeah.
Healthy Habits Tracker, there's an option there for a 24, 48, or 72-hour fast. You just click one,
Oh,
start with 24,
wow.
and
Yeah.
it'll pop up. You say the date and the time, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just drink water. And you can order the fasting kit, which is certain vitamins in that
Yeah.
that put the
Yeah.
cells out
Help.
faster.
Yeah.
But you click it and it'll take you through and it'll be a clock and it's a countdown for whether it's 24, 48, or 72. And the importance of that is you're tracking it. And then like come hour 10, you're like, heck with this, right? And you're like, I'm hungry. But you look at your phone on the healthy habits tracker on the fast and it says, hey, right now your brain is going through cell autophagy. The cells are cleaning. And you're like, well, then heck, I'm going to
Yes.
stick with it, right? Like I'm not going to
Yes.
mess up my brain being clean. And it'll take you through, depending on what hour it is on that fast, it'll tell you what's happening in the body. And many times that's the only, you know, thing you need to be able to stick with it. It's some
Yeah.
encouragement of like, hey, that's happening. I've got it. So I think that the point there is that one of the biggest questions I always get is what are the main reasons that people don't improve their health or they fall off, right? They don't achieve it because we've all started the diets. We've all started to
Sure.
improve our health and then we've fallen off at times. All of us, right? No one's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the research has been done and there's two main reasons. Okay. The main reason number one is that your why is not big enough. Your why. Okay. So what I
Why
mean by
should I
that
do
is,
this? Yeah.
well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of people have a story. Well, oh, I got heart disease, or I had this, or I went to
Mm-hmm.
play with my kids or my grandkids, and it was embarrassing because I couldn't move. They had a moment, right?
Sure.
And they created a why. And usually, if you fall off, you eat that food you shouldn't have had, you went to lunch and you had the fried food, or you didn't exercise. Well,
Mm-hmm.
your why wasn't strong enough. So, what we do is we
Sure.
help people with their why. And that's one of the biggest things we do when you come to like a seminar is we'll bring in some of the top thought leaders on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
some of these great speaker people that, have written books on the subjects and stuff, and they'll guide you through so that you create this huge why. Like, okay, then no matter what, come hell or high water, I'm going to stick with it because you've now created this why, that it's about my kids, it's about serving, it's about having energy all the time and looking forward to that. So the why is number one.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you do fall off, you need to go to your why. Okay, why do I need to improve my health? And again, we can help with that in a big way, especially at the seminars. The second thing is the system. So even if you have a why, if you don't have the right system, if the things you're doing to improve your health aren't the right things to do, it doesn't matter how big your why is, the
Yeah.
system you're using is going to, cause problems. Like
Gonna
if
fail.
you
Right.
take a bunch of prescriptions because you said you have low energy and all that, well, the system you're on is destroying you, right? It's not fixing. You're
Mm-hmm.
not drug deficient. And so the systems is key. So create a stronger why. Why should I improve my health? Why do I need to have more energy and be more present? And then make sure you have the right system. Make sure that you're
Yeah.
aligned with a holistic health professional, that lifestyle is the main thing they teach. And that's the most important thing I can share with you. So like optimal
Mm-hmm.
health systems, a lot of people say, well, they're a whole food supplement company. No, that's one of the things we do. We're the best in the world at it, but really, we're a company that helps you with systems to be able to improve
Lifestyle.
your health, like the fasting
Yeah.
app, right? Or the
Yeah.
21-day challenge. We're not selling you anything. We're just helping you with your system to be able
Yeah.
to follow the right system to reach optimal health. So your
I love it.
why,
So,
your system.
yeah. And your system, I love it. So that takes me to the next point. So, we reach a lot of business owners. So let's say we got the business owners. We've been talking about what they can do to make themselves healthy. What can a business owner do to encourage and to create an environment to help their employees to be healthier? Of course, guys, I'm all about compliance. So, don't force them into anything. Make sure you're respectful and create a healthy environment, a workplace, respectful workplace. But Doug, what are some tips and tricks? What are some hacks for that business owner? Maybe they're really doing a great job on their journey and they're feeling great. How can they spread that magic to their staff? How can they create an environment and maybe even a strategy, a mentality, a culture that, prioritizes health in the organization? What are some things you'd recommend?
Great question. And so, everyone's health journey is different, right? So, like right now with you, you're deep into it. Well, 10 years ago, you may have been like, you know what? Yeah, give me a
Nope.
few pointers. But, you know, like,
Yeah.
so you got, as a business owner, you have to be respectful to where people are at on their journey.
Yeah.
And that's really important to understand. And so, for example, you can have we had a staff member yesterday that came in and uh, based on her words, she goes, I need to lose over 200 pounds. And she goes, so I'm a long way to go.
Hmm.
And so, you know, she lost 10 pounds by just being in our culture and
Congrats.
that,
That's
but she goes, I'm
awesome.
ready for that next step, right? So
Hmm.
for her, right, it was about getting the system for her right now, which is basics, just real good basics, keep going. So what a business owner needs to do, number one, is they can help the why. So they can help educate their staff that they should focus on their health for the benefit of their family and the money they are earning, that they can enjoy it better and everything else.
Yeah.
So the business owner can focus on the why, and the way they can do that is through leading their employees and their staff members to different events, to different podcasts, to things to where they can learn about holistic health. Okay. So
Yeah.
number one is if you're a business owner, work on the why with your staff and your employees is, hey guys, why do you think we should have optimal health? What benefit would it be here? What benefit it would be with your family? What benefit would it be after five, you know, when you get home to have energy to be able to still
Yeah.
enjoy life? And then the second part of that is the systems, back to the why in the systems. And the business owners really have some great options. One of the things is you can say, hey, staff, here's this free app. Download it. You can do a challenge to eat healthier, you know, make choices. You can do some fasting. You can look at some other options. You can even go as far as like do blood work and test. And a lot of business owners, if you have let's see, what's it called, Reese? An HSA account? What's that called?
You just
Yeah.
say,
HSA
yeah,
account. Yeah. Health savings
HSA
account. Yeah.
account. HSA accounts pay for all of our things. We're so connected on
Wow.
our supplements, our blood work, everything is can be paid through HSA. So as a business owner, you can like, hey,
Wow.
staff, use your HSA on these healthy, you know, blood tests, on these healthy vitamins, on these systems to be able to improve your health. And so they can actually, without any cost, come in, create an environment as to why they should be healthier, and say,
Yeah.
here's some systems to use and use your HSA to do it. And now you're leading your employees to a system on lifestyle changes, not to one of, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to give you, you know, a better deal to go get your prescriptions and all that stuff. No,
Yeah.
you're going to go after the number one cause of disease, and
Which
that
is
is lifestyle,
lifestyle.
right?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
as
You just blew my mind.
and
Boom.
as business owners, you know,
Yeah.
let's talk being a business owner, you're a business owner,
Yeah.
hopefully a lot of people on right now are business owners. Let's be
Yep.
real, the cost to you to have a staff member out because they're sick is usually at least 7x what that pay was for that day, at least
Yep.
7x. Some people
Yeah.
believe, you know, 10, 12, 15x. I have one concierge client that tells me, Doug, it's 20x. He's like,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
so what you can do to be able to help your staff so that they don't miss their days because of, you know, they're sick, they don't want to be
Yeah.
sick, is
Yeah.
is to help them with lifestyle. The number one cause of missing work, the number one cause of missing work is poor lifestyle choices. And I hope everyone can
Yeah.
really get that ingrained in their soul. If I'm a business owner and the number one reason my staff miss a day is because of poor lifestyle choices, then why in the heck aren't you helping them with knowing which lifestyle choices are going to benefit them the most? And so
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
my you know
I love
little
it.
push.
So let me ask you, would you say that people knowingly make poor lifestyle choices, or it's because they don't know? They don't know that some of these drinks that say, the smoothie or whatever that's supposed to be really healthy is full of sugar, or they don't know that some of the things that they're eating that's packaged up, it's supposed to be a healthy choice, that it's actually highly processed. Would you say that it's ignorance, or that people are just like, screw it, I'm gonna eat Fritos, right? No, 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 no doubt to Fritos, right? But in terms of like, the best things to eat, what would you say, Doug? What's the biggest reason why people aren't making those great lifestyle choices that, I think everyone wants to do?
Yeah, I think it is naive. They're naive and it's ignorance, and that's to really give benefit to all of us, right? Because
Yeah.
the fact is if you truly know the problem that those Fritos or whatever are going to cause long term, you wouldn't do it. No one would do it. But
Sure.
the food industry understands that, because if they gave you something that you immediately felt terrible from, you wouldn't buy it. But if
Right.
they can give you something that will stimulate dopamine and serotonin to make you feel great for that moment,
Yeah.
and at the same time creating long-term problems so that you're going to become more addicted to that, and then it's going
Yeah.
to lead you down the road to their other companies, the pharmaceuticals, to be able to,
Hmm.
sell drugs,
Very
then
interesting.
then if you knew that at the deepest level, then you wouldn't eat that Dorito. You wouldn't eat that one Oreo that
Yeah.
became a whole rack of Oreos, right? And so
Yes.
it's ignorance to it. And once you become aware, it helps you with your why. And that's why you need to be around people that can teach you these facts, the whys as to what those things are truly doing long term, not based on opinion, but based on research. The research is very straightforward. We have it now. We have double-blind studies. We have what's called meta-analysis, where they've done studies of studies. So I can take a
Hmm.
thousand studies that have been done on a processed food and do one big study to kind of say what are the common denominators, and we know 100% what those carbonated drinks are doing, what the fried food is doing, what the processed food is doing. And if you can get in a room to learn about that, you'll come out of there a changed person, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm not going to fall for that anymore. Like I've been
Yeah.
duped, right? And
Yeah.
that's really what's
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
is you've been conned. You've been conned to believe that the quick, easy processed food is good for you, and it's the furthest thing from the truth. And so now we need to re-engineer that mindset and give you the systems to be able to get out of that matrix.
Yeah. So let's pivot a little bit. Okay. So guys, life hack number three, right? You know, life hack number two was change your mentality. Life hack number three is put those systems in place and share it. So the systems are, like Doug has really structured systems that will empower you, enable you and your staff. But maybe you're not that far yet. Maybe you're just starting your journey. So the first start is to just decide, I'm gonna eat healthier, I'm gonna drink more water, I'm gonna not eat as many fried foods. I'm gonna go on this journey. Educate yourself as part should has got to be part of your system. And the fact that you're watching us and you listen to these incredible experts is really a huge step in educating yourself. And so that takes me to the last part of today's conversation. So Doug has mentioned, they host all these webinars and they have these great seminars. Well, I want to talk about that. Um, so I know coming up next month, at the end of next month, you guys are having a huge event in Las Vegas. Is that right? I did have okay, in Las Vegas, and it's you've been doing it for years. It's a collection of really incredible people. Guys, go online. Sandy, if you can get the link in the chat, or Reese, actually, babe, can you drop the link in the chat? um, Whether you're a health provider, because I know some of you on this discussion today or watching the live stream, maybe you run a health or wellness related business. You're a chiropractor, a fitness trainer, um, naturopath, a lactation consultant, a doula, you name it. If you're anything where you're helping people with their health or their physicality or whatever, and you're watching and you're like, I'm drinking this Kool-Aid, baby. As you might have been impressed, is, OHS has a lot of resources and capabilities to help providers like you. But also, if you're not, and you're like me and you're a business professional, they also have a seminar for us, the public, where you can go and be awakened, right? So tell me what it is. Awaken to health freedom. Is that it? Doug, is that the right way to think of it?
Yeah, that's it. And it's really interesting because for 30 years, we only taught seminars to health professionals or professional athletes, right? And so a
Hmm.
few years back, we're like, wait a second, really, we need to let the public or the health professional patients come too. And all
Hmm.
these people that want firsthand knowledge to really create their why bigger and know the systems for themselves, whether they have a
Sure.
health professional or not. And so we opened it up, and it's been the greatest move we've ever made, and the only seminar for the year that's open to the everyone. You'll
The
have
public.
hundreds of doctors there, you'll have hundreds of the
Wow.
public there. Is this
Hmm.
seminar? And again, September 25th to the 28th for the health professionals. For the public, it's the 26th and 27th. So it's a Friday,
Okay.
Saturday,
Okay.
and we're having the Rio in Las Vegas, which is off the strip. A lot of people don't some people want to go to
Want to be
Vegas
in the
because
strip, yeah.
some other people don't want anything to do with it. Try to fix both issues, right? Is we're off the strip. So they can go straight to the convention center, not deal with anything
Okay.
else, or they can, enjoy and Vegas and what it is.
Hmm.
But basically, we bring in the health professionals on Thursday. We start training them in depth on systems and how to implement in their clinic. Because most health professionals are specific, right? They
Hmm.
adjust, or they do acupuncture, or they do surgery, or they
Sure.
we give them all the other tools and systems so that they can be holistic. But then on Friday and Saturday, um, we open it up where the public can come, and we have some of the greatest thought leaders, professional athletes, motivational speakers, and also all of us that teach the systems, right? So my mentors, and we'll teach the system so that people can come out of there going, man, I am motivated at the highest level. I just heard from Dr. Ben Hardy, that some of these phenomenal motivational speakers, and they gave me the tools. I'm going to start my 21-day challenge. I'm going to do blood work. I'm going to, they got with some people about their diet and they got it dialed in.
Hmm.
And or they found some people that they associate with. So now they have a group, right?
Yeah.
And so they come in on Friday and Saturday, the public does, to be able to get those systems and that motivation. It's both. We want to awaken that health freedom, awaken your why. Because if
Hmm.
everyone knew, right, what optimal health could do for their life, they'd all want it. And
Yeah.
so we need to awaken that. And like, why were you put here on this earth? Like it
Amen.
wasn't to be lazy and not have energy and to be sick. It was that,
Amen.
right? And so,
Yeah.
awaken that health freedom. And Reese, as far as the details about uh, this seminar, maybe you can give a little bit more
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I'd love to. So Doug's already kind of mentioned some of the things, but we've got some incredible thought leaders coming to this event. Um, so not only are you going to get incredible health advice and more in depth than even Doug's given today, but you're going to get some mental strengths, some physical strengths, some lifts in a lot of different areas as well. So it's incredible event. It's called Awakening because that's what it is. It's going to help you awaken all of your health senses. And we're actually running a promotional offer right now. We took a little arm twisting to get this in place, but
Okay.
if
Okay.
you call into our customer support reps right now and mention Change 3, you'll
Oh,
get
wow.
a BOGO ticket offer right now.
Okay.
So our normal general session tickets are $150. We're going to give that to you at $100 plus bring somebody with you. And on top of that, we are launching a new product at this seminar, and it's going to be our instantized creatine called Optimal Creatine, and
Uh-huh.
you'll get early bird access to that. So it's a really crazy cool offer. Um, we're just trying to incentivize people to get there because it'll change your life. It's going to be an incredible event.
Well,
Yeah,
okay. So
and
wait.
Ben, throw something in there really quick. Is
Yeah.
that a lot of us that are committed, like you are,
Hmm.
will spend thousands and thousands of dollars a year to get in the room. Like I think one of the biggest,
Yeah.
most important things you could ever do in life, the greatest hack you can have, is get in the room with the people that have what you want. Right? End of
Right.
story. If you do that, your life will change. Get in the
Yeah.
room with people that have what you want. If you want optimal health, you need to get in the room with people with the highest level of optimal health and have the systems to get there. And that's what the Awaken seminar is. But my point is that we individually will spend thousands and thousands of dollars. I just spent 50,000 last year just to get in the
Hmm.
room with two of the speakers that are speaking this weekend. And so people that are really committed at that highest level, they understand that they'll do whatever it takes to get in the room. Well, what we wanted to do is say, wait a second, not everyone's at that level, but they could benefit from those people, right?
Hmm.
And
Right.
so the Dr. Ben Hardy that charges 150,000 is talk, right? People
Hmm.
like that, some of these
Yeah.
Olympic medalists that don't speak anywhere. It's Forrest Griffin from the UFC, all these different people. We've got them because they've made life changes and their health's improved through our systems to be like, hey, why don't you come and speak? But we don't want to charge much for the seminar. We don't want to charge 1,000 or 2,000 like these other seminars are doing because these people like they're coming with that mindset of like, I want to, but I'm still learning. I'm still making decisions on my health. And so what they've done is they've donated a lot of their time and to come speak here. Like Dr. Ben Hardy's one I keep coming back to because
Yeah.
you're all going to get a copy of his book for free. He's going to be speaking, and basically you can come for, a couple $100. I can't believe
Yeah.
what that you buy one get one free and all that
Yeah.
stuff. You're going to come for this, just insane low cost to be able to hear people that usually it would cost you tens of thousands to get in the room with them, and you're going to be
Yeah.
able to be there. And the cool thing about these speakers is when they're done speaking in our giant expo area, we made kind of like a living room, and they go and hang out in this living room, and you can go speak to them. And these people that are usually untouchable, right? And
Yeah.
so
So
really,
Doug,
really.
I want to come, okay? Now, but wait, okay, I don't leave my kids. I never leave my kids. That's something weird about me, because I had them so old. So I homeschool my kids. I'm always with my kids. And I know I can get my husband. So if we drive our bus or we drive our Escalade and we hook up at the Rio, is this going to be an environment where I could come for maybe a day? Will I get, is that enough? Maybe I stay for a day. Am I going to get enough to, I'm on the hook, man, so talk to me. What if I got some other folks on there and they're going to come see me too, right? They're going to join us there. I want to come. So tell me what kind of experience I'm going to have I'm not a health provider, so I'm coming as the public. So talk to me
Yeah,
about that. Could I come for one day and still get awakened?
yeah, yeah. The great way to put it. You can, but we made it really easy for people to come for the entire event for the public. In other
Time.
words,
Okay.
actually,
2 days.
the public talks start at 10 a.m. Friday
Okay,
and
great.
go to about 6, and they go the same thing on Saturday. So the idea
Hmm.
is that, look, there's this period of time, and so you could go 10 to 12, you get a good little break, the kids, and then again, you got the afternoon sessions. So
Sure.
you can get a lot in a short amount of time, but we try to make it so that we're able to help people be present, still have their family if they bring their family with them, right? Do different things.
Yeah.
And it is a very friendly environment too, because our expo area, you can run around. It's not like it's like kid land, but you can
Yeah,
have
no,
the
my kids don't run around.
yeah. You have the family
Okay.
there and experience it and enjoy. And again, we're away
Cool.
a little bit from the strip, so the environment I think is such that your family would be able to, one, if they were there, you're not gone from 6 in the morning till 8 at night or 10 at night like
Right.
it's
Right.
conferences. It's just that window of time, and I think they'd be able to enjoy it. So absolutely, you can get a whole bunch out of it
Okay.
one day, but I would recommend it to
Two.
come.
Okay. No, and I love it.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday. All right. I'm
Absolutely.
talking to my husband. I mean, and if we don't have a reason why we can't, like, we're building a barn and we're doing some stuff. I'm not making excuses, people, but I'm gonna make this a priority to see if we can get there because I really want to go. I'm excited about it, and I encourage everybody who's watching in the stream and everyone who's gonna watch this replay. Come on down, right? Meet us up in Vegas. Come to the super seminar. Let's spend a couple minutes for those health professionals because all my conversations are always about business growth. So I hope guys who are in the room and folks who are watching in the stream, I hope we have underscored for you. The headline is, if you're not healthy, if you don't have a strategy and you're not measuring how well you are investing in making sure you've got those high performance moments, because remember, you are an elite business athlete. So if you don't yet have that mentality, I strongly encourage you to really embrace that. That is the message today, to remember and to claim your role as an elite business athlete and to start investing in creating an environment for yourself and for all of your elite business athlete staff so that they can be at the top of their performance, right? Michael Jordan is not out there eating a Popeye's chicken. He might enjoy it every now and then, right? But he's not doing that, grabbing a leg of chicken before he goes, do his layup, or LeBron or whoever it is, right? These elite athletes aren't doing that. They're taking the absolute best care of themselves so they can be at peak performance. And honestly, guys, that's the league that we're in. We
Right.
should actually be looking at ourselves in the exact same way and really trying to have peak health, peak nutrition and everything. Now, what
I
I
mean,
will say, and Doug, forgive me if I don't, if you're not, if
okay.
I'm on not on the train, but I'll say, don't kill yourself, people, because the stress is equally a killer. So don't forgive yourself if you're like, you know what, I didn't walk as much today, I didn't exercise as much as I could, I didn't drink as much water, so don't kill yourself. It's okay. Approach it with the best heart that you possibly can. Don't berate your employees, don't berate yourself. It's a journey. Just try your best and every day see if you could do it a little bit more, a little bit better. And I can speak from, I'm telling you the truth, you guys. I was really struggling, a few months ago. And like I said, I'm literally, that's my handle. I'm old mama. I'm an old mama. And I have really been transformed. And it's not only because of Doug or his supplements. They have absolutely played a really important role in my own journey, but really what has changed everything for me is my mentality. So I prioritize meeting
Wow.
the sun in the morning, right? And I do it and I enjoy it. Do you know I have I do my conference calls. I have all these really early morning conference calls and I do them while I'm doing my 2 mile hike. I'm not kidding you. So my freaking staff are listening to me going, you know, while I'm walking, and my dog's out there chasing squirrels and stuff, and it's great. But do you know it has been like life changing. So now I'm like, okay, and everything you've said, Doug, my husband used to have a couple beers every now and then, and he's stopped drinking. He's always been, we both have always been really pretty clean, one ingredient foods and stuff like that. We hardly eat any processed foods, but I think for him it was the alcohol, right? He liked a little bit of PBR, y'all. So so he's like cut those things out. But what I've really noticed for us is we just made some minor changes. They haven't been hard, people. Made some minor changes, and it's like I feel like I'm 30, again. And baby, I look like I'm 25, right? So let's
Killing
shift
it.
gears. If you're in the health industry and you're watching and you're thinking about, okay, I know all this, people, and I'm already on my optimal health journey, but how is this going to help me grow my business? Well, here's a couple things to hear if you didn't hear it. So, as a health provider, there's some ways you can add value added services. Why is that important, And is it partnering up with an optimal health systems? Is that the right avenue? Those are all choices that you will evaluate on your own. I strongly encourage you to reach out to these guys. Go to Super Seminar because that's the best way for you to get that flavor and get ignited. But before you do that, right, here's a few stats because Doug's been incredible about throwing out the research and the data. So here's the data. Since the pandemic, there's been a real struggle to build and nurture relationships, whether you're a business and you're meeting new businesses to do business with, whether you're a business selling your services to consumers, it's all a challenge. Why? Well, because social norms have changed. People spend less time out in the world. They spend more time at home. Their work environments are a lot more different. The number one reason that people who signed up for our session, we asked a couple questions. About 100 people said, hey, the number one thing that I'm struggling with right now is work-life balance. People work more. There's been a lot of layoffs. Companies are laying off people because they're using technology, AI, you name it. And so people work longer days and they're spending more time on social media. And so it's just harder to reach a new customer. So, for those customers you have, what the research shows is that if you invest $1 in your existing customer, it'd be 1,000 times % a return versus taking that same dollar and going to try to find a new customer. So, for you as a health provider, being able to layer in value added services that complement and enhance the relationship you have with your customer, your client, patient, whatever you call them, is going to be the number one best way that you can not only maintain a high customer satisfaction rate, but it's also going to be the number one way that you can increase your revenue because that's ultimately probably your second goal, right? Your first goal is to help your clients to be healthier and happier. And your second goal is to be able to pay your bills while you're doing it, right? So,
Right.
so a really great way to do this value-added services. And I think, man, these guys are a great way to partner. And I think they're probably one of the few companies that you could, with your integrity, partner with and know that you're offering your clients something that'll really make their lives better? Like, what do you think? Of course, you're going to be like, yeah, we're great. but do
Well,
you help your health providers build more business opportunities? Is that a true statement that I've just made, or help me
yeah,
put it in the right
absolutely.
light?
Yeah, so basically, our mission is twofold when it comes to health professionals. One is to help them get their patients better faster, right? And it's through all
Mm-hmm,
the things we talked about. They need to be able to have those lifestyle metrics within their clinic and be able to measure them. And so help patients get better faster, that's key. But the second part of that is to be able to build a tremendous residual income. And I'm old enough to have seen, and I'll just give you the point in time. There's a point in time about 12, 13 years ago that a friend of mine that was one of the greatest holistic doctors in the space in the nation. If I
mm-hmm,
told you his name,
mm-hmm.
you'd know him. And he comes and he
Yeah.
says, "Hey, here's the deal. The deal is I'm getting older and I'm not able to go to work as often as I do. I can't treat as many patients. But the problem is my income is based on physically being with the patient every day,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I have no exit plan." And I'm thinking, here's one of the top doctors in the entire nation that is struggling to keep the lights on if he didn't see as many patients. And so we completely revamped our structure at Optimal Health Systems to say, okay, we're going to help you get your patient better faster with the systems, right? The whole food supplements, help them to be compliant, blood work, um, all these systems, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But secondly, we're going to help the clinic be able to create a tremendous amount of healthy income, rightfully so, and do it correctly through our system. So if you're a health professional, and let's say you are a naturopath or a chiropractor, acupuncturist, or holistic medical, you have your patient come in, and if you educate them on whole food vitamins, on probiotics for the gut, on taking
Mm-hmm.
enzymes when you eat cooked food, and
Mm-hmm.
now the patient starts purchasing those supplements like they should, and it's improving their
Mm-hmm.
health. But now the patient leaves because you got them better, right? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden now they go to Costco or they go to Walmart and they're buying supplements that are from places that you don't know and that they're not the
Yeah.
quality. Well, number one, they're not going to be as healthy. And number two, you get no benefit. So
Right.
why in the world give the profit that it's going to happen anyway? So the patient's not paying any more money. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of these Walmarts and these big box chains getting it, they continue to purchase from the health professional, but they can do it through OHS. So your patients will keep purchasing and we'll keep educating the patient. Here's the latest on the glyphosates and that. So here's why you need to take fulvic minerals and glutathione. We keep the education going to the patient and
Yeah.
they get the products they need to get better faster and to stay healthy. But the doctor gets a residual income from it. And it's not multi-level, it's not anything. We just do it ourselves. We make it, we sell it to the consumer, the patient, and the health professional. That's it. We don't have any of these other level stuff. And so that makes the price, in a really great space, really fair.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we train the doctors. Here's how to get patients better faster, but here are the systems you put in place so that as you get patients better, you benefit long term. So now there's an extra 10, 20, $30,000 a month coming in the rest of your life because
Yeah.
of the patients that you educated, and rightfully so, you still get some of that benefit from it. And that's a huge part of why doctors should come to the super seminar is because remember the public is Friday, Saturday, right? 10 to 6. But Thursday and Friday morning early and Saturday morning early and Sunday, we're training the doctors when it's just the doctors, or we say health professional, right? It could be a
Yeah.
nurse, it
Yeah.
could be acupuncture, whatever. We train them on the system. So when they leave there, they're immediately starting to build their residual income and being able to help so that they can have the freedom to be able to, when those patients do come to you, that you can't, maybe they can't afford it, right? So if
Yeah.
you would have came, Nico, and just said, I'm going through perimenopause, but because things are the way they are right now, I can't really afford it, but I want to do something. As a health professional, they can say, you know what, don't worry about it. I got you. You can look at
Yeah.
doing something in the future to pay for it or refer some people, but they can do that because they have enough residual coming in from the patients. They got better already. And it
Yeah.
frees up the ability for a health professional to be a true health professional. And that is just
Yeah.
treat people. based on their need and where they're at in life at that time. And it'll all come back to you tenfold, right? But we got to get them in that position. If they're worried about keeping the lights on, right, then they're going to,
Yeah.
the financial part's going to cloud their ability to help their patient at the highest level. So, man, if you're a health professional, I'm telling you, whatever it takes, if you come to the super seminar, it'll change your life. In fact, I just did a podcast the other day and I said, look, I'm so committed to this one because this seminar is so special with the people that are coming that if
Mhm.
you come, and I'll offer this to your people and in the public, if you come to the seminar and you pay to come to the seminar, and you at the end of the seminar say, you know what, my value of being here, if it wasn't worth way more than what you paid, you come to
Mhm.
one of the staff and say, Doug said he'd refund my money, we'll refund your money. That I'm that
Wow.
committed to
Mhm.
the value that will come to your life as either thus us and the public wanting to improve our own health or a health
Yeah.
professional. That you just got to get in the right room. And this is the room to get in. This is the room to get in for sure. And I know you need to close. I'm going to mention one other thing, if that's okay.
Take your time. Take your
Hey,
time.
this is good for the health professionals, but also for the public watching right now. I'm going to focus in on you, okay?
Okay.
So so you're sitting there, and I want everyone else out there to think of what's going on September 26th and 7th as to why they couldn't come, okay, to the
Yeah.
seminar. And it's not just about this seminar, it's about everything. So
Yeah.
right now you have this barn, you're doing this, you have some different things coming up as to why you might not come. What I'd like everyone to do is to think about those reasons they might not come to the super seminar on the 26th and 27th of Vegas and go back to our beginning as to our why. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you doing the things that you are going to do that's going to make it so you not be there? I'm going to do some things with my family, right? I'm going to put these things together, or I'm building this barn or this thing at the house, and I got these projects going and all this thing. Well, time out. You're doing those things so that you can have more joy, right? That you can,
Yeah.
but you're not going to experience those things at the highest level of joy without your health. So why do we keep putting off the most important thing in the world is our health because of these events, right? The things that are going on in our life, all these things are like, wait a second, there's always going to be things. At what point do I say my health is most important so that I can enjoy life better during those events? At some point, you've got to break the chain. You got to
Right.
say, it's a non-negotiable. I'm going to get in the right room at the right time, no matter what. And that should help a lot of people say, you know what? Yeah, the whole reason I wasn't going to go, I'm not even be able to enjoy those things at the level I can, without my help. Let me go get in this room so that then
Yeah.
I can enjoy life. So for you, I
Yeah.
better see you there. And for everyone
Yes,
else,
you're right. No, you're gonna see me there,
you.
but I just gotta I gotta make sure my husband's on board because I can't do nothing. He's the head of the household, so it's
You
really,
got it. You
but
got
he usually does
it.
everything I want. So
I'm just
absolutely,
messing with
I'm
you.
gonna see you in Vegas, right, on the
Yeah.
26th. So I'm excited. Well, everybody and Doug, like I said, I could talk to you and Reese for hours. You are so knowledgeable. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining us today. I didn't even know you guys were gonna do that special buy one get one. Thank you guys so much. It's an honor. Can we include that? So what we do after we do a live stream like this is we do a post event follow up for anybody who couldn't make it. We also share it with our whole audience. Is it okay? Can we carry over that special, opportunity to everybody? And we got a lot of people in our network. Is that okay? Could we do that to everybody or just make it a smaller group? What do you think? Can we share
Reese?
promote it to everybody? What do you think, Reese?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that anybody that can get in those seats is going to have a life-changing experience.
All right.
Get
All
that
right.
that
Okay,
boost.
cool.
So we'll take it.
Yeah.
We're willing to take the loss to help people
Oh
get
my
that journey
gosh.
started.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
your wisdom and your energy.
Thank you. The one of my favorite statements is the more you crave something, the more your cells will vibrate that frequency into reality. And your
Absolutely.
frequency is so strong toward health, and people can feel that from you. And I think all the business owners out there, just take a look, and the energy that you bring because you focused on your health helps all the other people, all your staff members, your 40 something employees, right? The other businesses you work with, and you're a
Yeah.
great example of that. So just, crave optimal health, your cells will vibrate to a point where you'll get the feeling of, okay, I need to get in the right room. And if the OHS super seminar is the right room for you, you'll know it. And then you
Yep.
just need to get past the excuses and get your tail in the room, in the seat.
You're so
And
right.
if it's not, you'll be led to the company or, the people that are needed for you. And
Yeah.
whatever it is, just take action. And that's the last thing I will share with you is one of our principles in our company is to get into the arena. And
I
you need
love
to
it.
get into the arena right now, whether we're the arena and we can help you or someone else, just commit to get into the arena. And then we'll all benefit because everyone will be improving their health, whether it's through our tools at Optimal Health Systems or someone else's. Get into the arena, take action today, and we'll all be able to experience things at a greater level.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna see you in Vegas, and I better see you guys in Vegas too. Everybody who's on the stream, everybody who's in the room today, thank you guys so much. I know your time is so valuable and it is a scarce, precious resource. So thank you so much for joining me again this month. So next week we're talking about account-based marketing. Thank you so much, Doug. And if anybody wants to connect to Doug or Reese or any member of his team, hit up me or a member of my team. We'd be happy to make the connection. And of course, the best way to make that connection, you could just do it real easy. Show up at the Rio in Vegas. And depending on whether you're a health provider or not, which day you show up, Thursday or Friday. So everyone, thank you so much for joining today's Growing Happily Together session. You guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weekend. Rest, relax, recover, restore. Have a good day. Bye,
Take care.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Reese.